Okay, I was muted there. I don't know for how long, but down here, here's time. And here's dream. But yeah, I actually have been playing it for the past couple of days to kind of prepare for the sponsorship, and it's actually a really fun game. Like, I was not expecting to actually to enjoy it as much, but it's it's nice. It's like one of those games where you can kind of set it and forget it, because they do have kind of this AFK mode. So I just let it run with my heroes to kind of grind them up. But you know, it's kind of growing on me. 15 million players can't all be wrong. Oh yes, the sweet, sweet, relaxing voice of absolute throat decay. Hi, Pearl. All right, so Dream taking the very early advantage here by winning that fight. And now time trying to get out a second one here, but having a little bit of trouble doing so as he did go for the CC before the factory. We do see Dream going to be going for the starport a little bit earlier as well. So all in all, just small little leads do build up quite heavily in these sort of mirror matchups. And as you can see, Time having a little bit of struggle cleaning up these Reapers, as he's not really going to be able to counterattack at any point because of the fact that he's lost all his. Now, from here, we do have the Banshee going to be the choice for both sides. So this is really a matchup, a mirror matchup completely here. As we got the Cyclones as well, just trying to play it safe while going for these, trying to go for these Screaming Banshees. Basking in the tones. Well, alright then. No, I'm not doing that. But looks like the fight is not really going to be going Time's way once again as he loses the Cyclone. That lock-on so unfortunate for him. And the Banshee actually going to have to stay at home to help defend. But that does reveal it. I mean, this is like a dance almost, trading out blow for blow, as it's almost relatively equal in terms of the units lost. I mean, losing that Cyclone is a very big deal because Time doesn't have anything that shoots up. And look at that. It's going to tap out immediately. I gotta say, that was actually pretty... I know mirror matchups aren't everyone's cup of tea, but that was actually pretty entertaining. It looks like Dream just barely ahead in most of those situations. And don't forget, guys, right after this, we are going to have some Raid Shadow Legends played on stream. I'm going to try and grind up some hero levels. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see Time kind of knowing when he's beat. He did have his own Banshee ready to go on the other side of the map, but he just didn't feel like he could really get anything done with that one. So just a very quick tap out, just doing what he can there. it is definitely time for a good dream. But instead of dreaming, I am casting SC2. Gotta say, I actually prefer the SC2 part. Now, let's introduce these players. As we have down here, spawning in the bottom position, he is Time. And his opponent, up here in the top, he is Dream. And I'm pretty sure he's living it after that game. Number 1, he just got so many different leads early on. And that's kind of the thing about TVT. Reapers, if you guys didn't know, like all units in the game have this very small millisecond delay that's completely randomized in their attack path. And so if you can get that kind of perfect RNGesus, then you can win those fights really easily. And once you take out your opponent's Reaper, you just open up a world of hurt. Like we saw, he lost 2 workers very early on. He didn't really get the chance to come back from that because he did continuously, like he kept continuously losing those small fights. Death TVT is definitely opera, I gotta say. That's the best analogy I've seen about it. ZVZ, I gotta feel it's more like ska. Mainly because I don't understand ska. But you know what? What I do understand here is that we got double Reaper on the production tab, and Time is just going to be looking to close things out as quickly as possible. Now, Dream, he's getting the factory up, so he's going to have to rely on his, well, first his micro, but he's going to have to rely on the Hellions in order to defend against this. Checkered pants, trumpets, and upstrokes. Yeah, exactly. Now, Time is playing this very defensively. I guess this 2-Rax was a little bit more of a defensive option. He didn't feel safe versus what Dream is going for. But I mean, Dream's just playing this out pretty, pretty standard. I do think that this strategy can be pretty good. It's very similar to a 2-1-1 in both TVP or TVZ, in that you are able to get some relatively early game damage done. After that kind of first little dance with the Reapers and the Hellions, but now the bunker is up. There is a chance that you could just jump behind it, but it really wouldn't be worth it, as there's not really that many SCVs down at the bottom yet. Looks like Dream's going to be going for some drop play as well. Alright, not really too much else to say here. We'll have to see how Dream can do with this little bit of a siege tank push. This really isn't meant to kill Time, but it can kind of force Time into an uncomfortable position, especially with that siege tank going to be all along the ramp so that the Reapers can jump up. But you do have to be careful not to overextend here with those, as Time still does have a lot in the main base. Good pickup, going to save the Hellion from the Cyclone. Already, this is pretty nice. Time just not able to engage. The Raven, though, is going to be able to drop that. Is going to be able to drop the missile turret there. And I know it's auto turret, not missile turret, but same thing. And he'll finally be able to to push this back, but Dream is not done just yet. He's going to try and do whatever he can with how few units he does have. Rack's almost going to be falling as well, but going to try and save that. Like that, he actually gets the Cyclone. He gets a couple of SCVs as well. Very nice. Even just going to keep whittling these forces down. The Reaper Grenade is going to do what it can, and 7 workers getting killed. That was way more damage than, honestly, Dream should have honestly gotten. And this honestly feels like a completely different Terran than we saw in his Protoss games. I just feel like he's finding much more of a stride in the mirror matchup, and that he's not really stumbling his way through like we did kind of see in the last series. Okay, never mind. He just lost the Raven for free. All right, so it looks like we have got straight into the mid-game here. Time has his third base, as does Dream. Dream with a little bit of an SCV advantage, obviously killing off 9 workers. Kind of does that. But both players just kind of powering up behind this. 3-base Terran is kind of where the war machine starts to come from. And yeah, we see pretty equal on workers up. Sorry about that. Pretty equal in terms of those upgrades. Racks number, additional gas. Thank you for joining the raid. Looks like Time is going to be able to get around here. Going to go straight for the third base, but Dream just going to sacrifice this position. And there's not that much back at home for him either, so his own third base is under threat. A lot of supply depots can go down here. Supply blocking Time quite heavily, and there you go. We get right on top of the siege tank, though. So we're in a little bit of a base trade situation, but it's not fully committed just yet. This is a very aggressive siege up location for Dream here. A bunch of those SCVs are pulled, and this is just absolute carnage. Time still has the better army, I feel. I gotta sneeze again. Now, Time still has his position here. He's gonna try, Dream's gonna try and drop off here, but he's not mining anymore. Off this one base. He's only got his main doing so, and unfortunately he's just taking a very bad engagement there on the ramp, and GG is called. Excuse me, my nose is acting up here, but Time tying up the series. That was incredible play. Looks like we are 1/3 of our way to the goal as well for level 10 Raiders. That is awesome. 14 new champions every month, over 400 champions to collect and customize. Find out what 15 million players have already found out in their downloads. Why Raid Shadow Legends is a very fun game to play. You know what, while we're talking about fun games to play, let's introduce these guys who have just spawned into the battlegrounds of Oxide. Spawning. Down here in the bottom position, he is our blue Terran for Kaitsu. It's time. And his opponent. Up here in the top, it is Dream. I have a beautiful time. I couldn't even imagine Dream how good this finals would be. Thank you for the bits, Zerg Troll. Really appreciate it. Sorry I missed that. Alright, so Dream is going to be going for the double refinery, as is Time. That does tell me that we're going to be seeing that factory play a little bit quicker. What this allows you to do is kind of pump out the additional Reapers while also getting your factory up at a consistent time. No pun intended. I am definitely going to make a pun on his name as many times as possible by accident. But yeah, this just allows you to drop that factory much sooner. We don't see him pulling off just yet. They're gonna wait until they have 100 minerals, or gas, that is. And there you go. Roughly the same location as well, which I always find funny. These guys have just dropped down the same building over and over and over again until until they just like found the perfect location for it. And we do see that I'm going to be looking, and roughly this, a rougher indication. He's going to go for the proxy locations just to make sure that there's no craziness coming across the map. Dropping the grenades is the most risky thing you can do, because the problem with it is if you drop it down and your opponent gets that extra shot off, you might just die. And that leaves your base a little bit more exposed, losing that Reaper. But so far, Time just going to go for the more simple maneuver. 2 Reapers, 1 Hellion. Could be moving across the map here as well, as Dream kind of skipped that step, instead deciding to go for the additional tech lab very quickly, going up to the Cyclone. Yeah, now we see these kind of different styles start to separate from each other, as we have Cloaked Banshees on the way for Dream. Remember, last time Cloaked Banshees were on the cards, Time had to drop out immediately because he didn't have a solid defense set up. So we'll have to see what his reaction is going to be this time. Dream has scouted this. His Banshee is going to be coming home to defend. There's not really that much that shoots up. Only a couple of Marines here. Some good micro, going to keep a bunch of them alive as well. The Banshee actually falling That is terrible for Dream right now. And Time found the perfect location, kind of showing him how it's done from the last game. Gets the reactor, gets one of those supply depots, supply blocking Dream. And now he's just going to rotate around to the natural. But the next Banshee is going to help defend that. Although that will fall as well. So Dream keeps kind of cycling out these Banshees, trying to do what he can. Keeps losing the Siege tanks, but now Time does not have a solid position anymore. He lost the Siege tank, so it's just a Cyclone and a couple of Marines. Got to be careful not to lose the Raven, because that still has a lot of utility later on in the game. Like right there when it shuts down another Siege tank. I feel like Time just getting massive amounts of damage done here. It's fantastic to see. But he really hasn't touched the economy at all. Now, I would argue that he's done enough to the army where it's kind of forced Dream back into a position where he can't attack for a little bit longer. But, I mean, that was still a pretty decent commitment there from Time himself, as he did lose one of those Siege tanks, a lot of Marines, and the Cyclone. Actually, he saved a lot of the Marines. Let's take a look at the units lost tab here. Okay, that was definitely worth it. All right, that protection tab looking pretty healthy here. Stim about to complete. For Dream, Time is going to get a little bit slower, but it's not that big a deal. I don't think that Dream is going to be going for some sort of attack right now. When it gets to this stage and there's not really that much damage done, usually you do kind of see the players kind of remain a little bit more defensive. And as I say that, Dream deciding to say, no, caster, I attack. And Time going to say, okay, I defend attack. But like two ships passing in broad daylight, the Siege tanks are going to siege up a little bit faster for Dream, but he does get shut down there. But he still has more than enough to, as I say that, he gets cleaned up. Never mind, Time takes the fight pretty handily. The question is, does he continue to push, as he doesn't really have a lot of DPS with this, just the landed Vikings. But yeah, he's just going to siege up this location, and honestly, he might be able to get a kill here if he forces the liftoff. Here we go. SCVs are pulled. The reinforcements starting to come in for a time. Small smattering of them. The SCVs do fall, but the Marines are going to be able to push this back. The Vikings not enough to kind of clean things up. And this is kind of the back and forth of the mirror. Dream is still ahead in that worker count, even after losing that 8 worker in the back. Taking a look at the units tab here, it's 28 to 24, and only a couple of siege tanks. But Time technically has the air advantage with these Vikings. And that's going to be the most pivotal thing for this TVT. As long as you can control that air, you're going to get full advantage of any siege of location that you have. They give you vision. They take down the opponent's healing. Looks like time going to try and pick up here, and unfortunately that was a bit of the wrong move, I'd say, because the siege tanks are going to go down, and he's just going to tap out off the back of that. I don't really know what he was planning there. It looked like he was trying to set up in a position, but it was just a little bit too slow, and Dream was able to take him out quite handily. So GG there. I gotta say, this is a real back and forth series. I can't even tell who's ahead. Looks like a Dream does need a minute, and I mean, I don't disagree with that. He has been playing for 2 series straight now. And yeah, really fun series, you know. I think TVT is the best mirror matchup, and I know I'm going to get some people saying, no, that's not really the case. But the reason I think TVT is the best mirror matchup is because it's a lot more back and forth than you would usually see, because in a PvP, you know, you have a lot more variation. So that's good, but with TVT, you usually see a lot of the same stuff, but it really just comes down to the player's skill level. Like a lot of people have been saying in the chat, it's an opera. The players sing their hearts out, and sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. I'm very bad with analogies, if haven't realized yet. Looks like Dream has come back from his PE break. Nard Pog. No, yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch Maynard in forever. Hey, thank you all for tuning in so far as well. It's always a pleasure to have you guys here, as we're going to be hopping into game number 4. Dream pulling ahead. Yeah, 50% of the time player will win, and then another 50% of the time the other player wins. I think that's the best way to put it. But you know what? There's one thing I always know will happen, and that's the fact that a Terran player will win. Which one is the question? And let's answer that by spawning down here in the bottom position of Death Aura. He is Time. And his opponent up here in the top, he is Dream. All right, so already we've seen a bunch of crazy shenanigans out of these two. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of variation, though, in these build orders, as Time once again going to be going for what looks to be 2 racks Reaper, while his opponent is going to go for the much faster Factory Tech. Now, both players are going to scout, so they will know that it's a little bit different. Also, thank you, Kranos or Xranos, for the follow. Really appreciate it. So yeah, the scout's going to come off, and they're going to realize the opponents are going to be doing something a little bit different. Dream has walled off completely. Has have time, but oh, just barely out of view. A couple of dead pixels. I see what you did there. Santa is communist. So, yeah. Right now it's going to be like 2 ships passing in the dark of the night, except the dark of the night is in a completely different ocean. As we see, those Reapers going to be going on the offensive here. This last one, I believe, must stay at home in order to help defend this. And already 2 workers going down on time side of the map. 1 has fallen, and that is going to delay his CC for just a couple of seconds here. And now Time knows something, or Dream knows something is up. Just from the fact that he sees this many Reapers this quickly, he might lose his own here. But he's gonna try and get a little bit more work done. Just really have to be a nuisance with this. I think that's the best way to play it. Cyclone as well gonna be in a defensive position. That was a big splattering of blood. Pulls the Reapers getting pushed on back. Once again, it's going to be Banshees. This time there is no cloak in the equation, however, as we got that 3rd CC coming in very fast for Time. So he's going to try and play this out a little bit more economically focused. All right. So Dream going to be getting up the Raven. We should see the Banshee relatively soon. There we go. It's hopping across as the Cyclone's still going to be trying to get a little bit of poking damage done. And they will kill off some of these Marines here. You got to be very careful that you don't get caught in the Cyclone's death trap like he just did. Now there is still a Cyclone for Time, so this is going to be a very difficult location to kind of push into for that Banshee. But, I mean, from here, we're kind of going into the mid-game with not really too much going on. You know, losing these Reapers kind of sucks. But it's actually 300, 150 to 300, 200. So an even game all around once again. Deciding to sacrifice the Banshee, he will get 5 workers, which is a little bit of a magic number for the Banshee to be worth it. But at the same time, we do see him going for a bit of a small drop. Now, we do have a Raven here that can shut down that medevac, but there still is a lot of variables here. And, I mean, Dream's army is a little bit out of position. Deciding not to drop, however, that's kind of a hard decision to make. I think this 3rd base is pretty wide open, though. saying that the Siege Tanks are now back and ready to go. Small stim, so he's going to have to heal up from that. And, I mean, it's just going once again into a Marine tank for both sides. Time just a little bit more ahead in that regard, but his economy suffering from taking those losses to Dreams Banshee. Has a huge army in comparison. Looks like time as well just does not want to give Dream any more semblance of room to breathe, as we already have the second army going to be moving on out, consolidating with the remainder of the last force, and is just going to keep this attack rolling. Dream, though, trying to find it. He wants to go for an attack of his own. The question is, will he be able to keep enough at home, or are we going to go into a small base race situation that, honestly, if it comes to that, I don't think it's going to go in Dream's favor. He's completely caught out on the map right now. This Doom Drop is actually the best move that he can make. Gets right on top of the production. The SCVs are immediately pulled. Dream's entire army is going to be coming on back, but it is not going to be in time. No pun intended. SCVs going down. The Siege Tanks trying to save the third base as well, but there's just not enough here for either side. I think Dream might start to tap out here pretty soon, as he's down double the army supply. Look at that, even just trickling in these Marines. That's going to be enough to take down the last of those Siege Tanks, especially if you're standing right on top of them. You know, Dream has not given up just yet, but looking at this, 10-5 on the production tab. No Siege Tanks, just a planetary on that fourth. And the final nail in the coffin. He is down under 100 supply. Well played by time in this one. That Doom Drop, really just a winning move. Dream was completely out of position for it. And this is kind of the last huzzah here for Dream. Taps out. And we are tied up once again. This series is so fun to watch. Just so action-packed. Also, Zer Girl, thank you for the follow. I'm thinking that this game might go straight to a game number 7 with the way that it's handling itself. Looks like Dream's a little bit tired according to his own words here. All right, let us introduce our players. Spawning in the top position of Pillars of Gold, he is Time. And his opponent, down here in the bottom, he is Dream. Very late games for these guys, I gotta say. Very admirable their dedication to their craft. Now, Dream, he's kind of been sticking with this 2 refinery build to start things off. Time kind of just adapting it when he sees fit. He's been the one who's kind of mixed it up a little bit more. From 2-0 to a 3-2. Yeah, it did take him a couple of additional games there to take down Prince. But, you know, what are you going to do? It is StarCraft 2. There is a little bit of a luck element involved. But, there you have it. We're going to have, once again, a completely mirrored matchup. Although this SCV is going to play it a little bit safer and just go for some scouting information on any sort of proxy location. All right. First Reaper going to be dancing around as well. Again, just checking these little locations, trying to find their other opponent. It's going to come down to that first shot in these kind of fights. So you can always kind of see a Reaper hanging around the top of a ramp, just waiting for the other to engage into him. But, you know, we're changing it up just a bit once again. We're going to see a Cyclone going to be popping out of the factory, while Time is once again going to be going for that Hellion, which is just a little bit more mobile early on. But the problem is, it's a lot less tanky versus what Dream is going for. And already, though, 4 workers going down for the cost of 2 Reapers. That was a pretty nice trade for him, even if it does mean Time is going to go for a small counterattack. Couple of workers falling right now, but he's not going to really be able to push down that orbital CC. Not with that Cyclone hanging around. And behind this, it does look like Time's going to be going for yet another kind of safe build with those siege tanks. They just make it so that you can't really engage in as Dream. And off the back of that, you know, there's a good potential for a solid attack. Woohoo, level 10. Welcome to the level 10 club. And all right, so we do have the Banshee going to be coming in again. This has kind of been another signature for him. It doesn't have Cloak, so he's not committing super heavily to it, which is good because Time does have that Cyclone ready and raring to go. But on the back of this, Time does have a very committed siege tank drop. Bringing back a classic, I gotta say. Already 9 workers going down the Cyclone, taking some big hits as well. Gonna deny the third base. Jesus, this is just doing everything that Time needs it to. And still, he's just denying so much mining time with this. Taking a look at this income graph. It's doing fantastic for him. Even now that he's dead, get cleaned up, he still killed 10 workers, which apparently makes him equal. Okay, that's kind of funny. But now Time kind of smells that blood in the water. He really wants to close these games out quickly before Dream can start to rely on that 3-base macro play. So that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to keep this attack rolling. No stim for either side just yet. So, you know, neither side is really going to get that kind of upgrade advantage. But instantly gonna lose the Raven for both sides here. The missile turrets doing what they can, but Dream does have those siege tanks in the back. Has to be careful not to engage into time here in the middle. But here we go. This is just buying Time a lot of opportunity in order to keep himself safe, as he's just kind of leapfrogging the defense backwards and forcing Dream to kind of take it a little bit slower, especially taking out some of these siege tanks. It's really nice. Losing the Raven, though, not very nice. All right, only 1 siege tank remains for either side in this push even. And it is very, very low. That Cyclone wants to get that last couple of pickoff shots, but it's not looking like it. Time is going to try and take his third base as well. It looks like Dream is in a good position to kind of deny this for now. Couple of nice pot shots. The factory is in view, but now that Time has that kind of advantage in the air, that is one of the most important things, is getting that air control, because once you have that, you really can shut down the Ravens a little bit more effectively. You can push a bit better because you can just take down those medevacs for vision, and gets you those kind of siege tank positions that you can only get with a Viking. Once again, Time is just going to keep going with these small attacks. I feel like if he just stayed back, waited for a couple more Marines, just spent it a little time being a little bit more committed, he would be able to get a lot more damage done instead of losing too many of his siege tanks. But here we go. He's going to start leapfrogging forward, using the Liberator to force these tanks back. And then now the question is, does he keep reinforcing this position? So far, it looks like the answer is not completely. He's just getting a couple of additional Vikings to make sure that those Ravens can't get on top of anything. But here we go. It looks like Dream is going to try and dive on top of this. The missile turret's going to get some good damage down on those siege tanks. That's one thing, definitely. But the longer this goes on, I don't know. I think Time just really going to overstay his welcome here if he's not careful. He's just slowly sieging his way forward, and this buys Dream so much room to breathe, kind of. But we'll have to see. If Dream does not engage at the perfect time, he is going to get taken down here. Scan to make sure that he takes down the medevac, or the siege tank rather. A couple of the medevacs going down, so there's not a lot of healing energy left with Dream's army. And there you go. He is just going to dive on top of this. The siege tank's still pretty low, but the Marines in the front taking almost everything. It looks like Dream has just barely been able to push this back. Now, taking a look at his Marine count, he is ahead in that regard, and that's really going to help push himself forward. Oh my goodness, like I said, Time kind of overextended his welcome there. Although, keep in mind, he does still have that air control, and he's going to keep pumping out these Liberators and Vikings in order to keep it. Dream going to be going for a bit of a Doom drop, as we have a bit of a lesser Doom drop. Going to be moving towards the potential third base, or fourth base, rather. Nice. Gets a cancel right there, but the rest of the drop does get cleaned up here. That was all just a distraction, as 3 siege tanks heading straight on in already. 11 workers going down, so the entire mineral line is gone. Liberator is going to help to clean this up, but has Time taken a little bit too much damage here is the big question. Down over 10 workers. He's going to have to macro his heart out to get back into it. Definitely a wild game. These guys do not know how to make a game boring. Now Dream, he keeps thinking that he's going to come out here and attack, but he's just being very cautious about it. He really does need to consolidate his forces, and I think, again, that's kind of the big problem with these two players recently. They're not really fighting all together. They're trying to find these little angles where they can get in with small amounts of units, but at the end of the day, they're not really going to be able to find them, as the defenses have been pretty solid for both sides. This is a bit of a problem, though, for Dream, as a couple of those siege tanks very exposed. And that's kind of what I meant. Even the medevac's going to start to fall. Dream not fighting with his entire army. He will force Time back just because he does have that upgrade advantage for a little bit longer. But at what cost? right, so Dream's still out on the map. He's still trying to kind of slow down this push of time. The way he's trying to do that is he's just kind of forcing the leapfrog effect forward, which gets him a couple extra rounds of production. Looks like time is going to be switching to that air army as well. That's a lot of supply of a Dream actually in those medevacs, but he's not going to get caught out with them. Now with +2, these guys are going to fight on a little bit more equal footing. Time just found a really nice position here in order to kill off some of those workers. Here we go, a big stim by. Going towards the third, however, this is going to be very dicey to deal with. Time might start to clean up this location, but he loses a CC of his own back at home. I mean, from here, the production is very wide open. We do see a big fight coming on down, but my goodness, this is so back and forth. I don't even know who's really ahead here as both sides losing a ton. Oh my goodness, the starport's going down. So no Ravens for time. However, I don't think he really needs them right now as he's going to be cleaning up another base. Maybe he decides to go for it here. And you know what? GG is just going to be called. That was, oh my goodness. I couldn't even follow that game half the time. No pun intended. While we get into the next game, I'm just gonna wait for the lobby, and then I gotta step away for just a second. I got a message I had to. And you know what? We're sponsored by a pretty cool energy drink, so you can check them out on Matcherino as well. But I'll be right back, guys. I got something is making a beeping sound, which shouldn't be.
Game paused.
All right, so looks like time actually needed a second. We got into the game, and then he paused, so we did not miss anything, guys.
Game resumed.
So, let us, without further ado, introduce our players. Down here in the bottom position, he is on match point, looking to close this series out. He is Time. And his opponent over there looking to be a little bit cheeky as he's got a couple of SCVs hanging out on the other side of the map. He is Dream. All right, so this is going to be double Rax Reaper. If this does not work out, however, this is going to be the worst mistake for him, as it's going to be very difficult for him to get back into it. But you know, right now, Time has no idea that this is coming for him. Looks like from his build order, we might be seeing him try and throw down that CC behind this as well. And that's really the worst thing that you can do at this stage. He is going to get a good view of what's coming his way. But by now, that it's a bit of a problem for him. Like, do you continue on with what you're doing? He doesn't even see the second refinery right there. And there you go. A bunker going to be going down in both locations. He's just wanting to hold on and defend. And actually, he's going to be able to take down this first Reaper quite handily. Just pushing that away. And that's going to slow down the push here a little bit. As Dream trying to find an angle to get in here, but the Marines in the bunkers now. This is starting to look not that good for him, but luckily he is going to throw down the factory back on his side of the map, which does mean that he's going to be able to kind of expand his way out of it, almost. Now he is going to get the supply depot, which will supply block Time. Thank you, Global Glory, reaching level 10. Awesome, dude. Hellion doing a nice job of kind of getting those pokes off. It really is important to keep that alive for the time being. I mean, from here, Time is pretty safe. He's got all the tools that he needs to effectively hold this, and that is going to force the Reapers to kind of just go back home, only losing 300 minerals to that supply. That doesn't seem right. Interesting. I guess that includes the repairs and everything, but yeah, he has held this for right now. A little bit risky to send the Marines out like that, however. Baiting the Reapers into a trap, though, is the name of the game there. Looks like he salvaged the bunkers, too. But, yeah, Time not really falling for it. As we do see, off the back of this, we see Dream going to be going for the double CC, trying to macro his way out. Alright, so 3 workers dead. That gives Dream just a slight advantage in that regard. Looks like he's going to be throwing down a CC of his own here. Also getting the Raven. He does have a Banshee. And, yeah, this is kind of the, you know what? I don't want this game to go on any longer. I don't think you have anything back at home. So I'm just going to pick up everything that I have and go on the attack. And, yeah, this has the potential to do quite a bit of work. A couple of Cyclones are going to be there for the defense, but he might get the Raven. He does. I imagine not going to be able to get a shot off, but the Cyclone does not get the lock on, so he is going to be able to kill off both of those. And there you have it. Now the mineral line is wide open. Just a little bit of micro there. Going to kill off some of those SCVs. And I mean, Time's just going to keep this going. He really smells blood in the water. And as I say that, the blood smell has gone away. He's going home. But now the big problem is he is behind in those bases. Dream is starting to skyrocket in terms of that worker supply. Look at that, 45 to 39 here. And that lead is going to last for quite a bit of time. No pun intended. Is that a raven? Something that flies. Auto turret. I mean, I like these small moves here and there. They're really kind of evening things out a little bit more. And I mean, behind this, you know, Dream is really going to be in that situation where he's just consistently looking over his shoulder trying to defend these locations. The problem is we have seen Time kind of overextend himself with a lot of these pushes because he doesn't bring enough to help complement the siege tanks. Now it is Dream's turn to strike. He's going to be looking to even out this series with this push, and I think he has quite a formidable army here because Time is completely out of position in order to deal with this. Both sides will have stim, but the 1-1 upgrades are much quicker for Dream. That does mean that they're going to take an additional shot from those siege tanks. And I mean, Time is defending the third base, but that's just going to tell Dream he can attack the natural. Stim's going to be going down from both sides. I don't know. Losing these siege tanks in the front, the SCV is going to start to fall. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 7. That is how you do an SC2 series. I'd like to let you all know as well. Don't go away after the SC2. We are going to be doing some raid Shadow Legends. So we're going to be raiding some of that campaign, doing some of those quest lines, leveling up our heroes, kind of showing you how the game is played. But if you want to support this series as well, make sure you check out that Matcherino page. To what you can do is you allow yourself to add to the prize pool for absolutely free. If you want to type in ! Matcherino to know what's up with that. You certainly can. See, we got that good, that good. Yeah, here we go, guys. Last map of the night, Jagannatha. I am very excited. I'm very excited for this one. It's a very big, sprawling map with so many different angles for those medevacs to get in. I'm very excited to see who is going to take advantage of that. Now, before I get too crazy with my thoughts, let's introduce these guys. Spawning in the top position, he is our blue Terran player, and he does not want to run out of himself. He is Time. And his opponent down here at the bottom. He's just one man, one race, and dream. And his dream is to close this game out as quickly as humanly possible with another Reaper opening. Now the question is, will Time expect this? Already it's a big change from the last game in that he's going to be going for a much faster factory. And honestly, he should be scouting around here with this first SEV, and it looks like he is going to be going towards that pathway. Just barely going to miss it by a couple of 20 pixels. All right, but now he does see that there is indeed no racks anywhere in the base. He sees the additional refinery, so that tells him everything that he needs to know. Unfortunately, there is not a wall this time. So if Dream wants to, he can try and throw down that bunker. But now that he has wind of where these racks are, he can kind of formulate a little bit more of a defense. You can actually throw down something there and block that off if you so desire, but he's going to go with a much more mobile defense than last time. He's going to almost sacrifice his own Reaper to take down the other one of Dream. But you know what? So far, this is a lot more clean out of Time for the defense. Going to get that factory up. The starport is already on the way. And we do see Dream transitioning, but it's going to be much slower than the follow-up here. Taking a look at that. I think Time would prefer that kind of trade to the last game. Now Dream is going to kind of keep on this a little bit longer. He wanted to stop at 4 Reapers because that's going to give him a little bit more map presence. Might even get him this supply depot. Time has to be careful. He doesn't really want to lose these Hellions. Once those go down there, he doesn't really have anything behind it to help defend. And losing the couple of Reapers is going to kind of pull the trigger here for Dream. As, oh wow. He's getting a little bit more damage than I thought he would, but now the Reapers are going to start to fall as the Cyclone starts to push those away. So it's definitely not game-ending damage here, but it did buy him a lot of time, especially since, no pun intended, but yeah, the big thing with that is that now Dream has that second CC up and running. He doesn't... Like, he can start to kind of fall. I'm forgetting English. It's only my first language at 4 a.m. Good to know. But he's going to start to go ahead in terms of that economic lead. Time, his choice was to go for Banshees without Cloak. And Dream is still outside of his base with that Cyclone. So once that Banshee decides to move out, it's going to have a rough time getting to the other side of the map, especially with the additional Cyclone back at home for the defense. So far, nothing really too crazy. Dream once again just gonna... I love this from Dream. He has been building this faster third CC, which has really just been skyrocketing him ahead in terms of that income graph. And what that allows, that really just gives him so much more freedom on the map to move around, because he can always replenish his army much, much quicker. And Time's still kind of struggling to get up to that. He's only got those 3 racks up, bombing in right now. Should see the upgrades double up here for Dream pretty soon, as we have +1 for Time. Yeah, pretty quiet right now on all fronts. Both sides just kind of wanting to power up. We do see Time, though, going to be going for a little bit of a drop play. And if he can find a good angle to get in here, he will be able to kind of bounce between the third and the main pretty handily. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, Time's going to be moving out once again. A good chunk of his army is in those medevacs in heading towards the main. But this was just the distraction that he needed to get in. He's not even going to really commit to this too heavily, I don't think. Although he is going to get potentially +1 attack. So that was a very solid pickup for him right there. Now keep in mind, he has +1 attack of his own. He kills off 17 workers, and actually his main army over here doing massive amounts of work. I think Dream might be able to clean this up, but it's going to be pretty much at what cost. You see the reinforcements going to be coming in, and Time just looking to close things out. The siege tanks still reigning supreme, and I think he has done it. GG is called.